Hey everyone, Andy here. And today I wanted to give a quick update on what's happening with the unemployment and stimulus bills. It's been a very hectic last couple of days. We all thought that Congress had reached an agreement on the bill, and then we finally found out Friday night that President Trump has decided to threaten to veto it based on a few of his concerns. Here's a video that just shows a quick update, and I'll go into what this means for people when it comes to the unemployment benefits and stimulus payments. And the news is not great, but I'll give you some options and what could be happening next. So here's the video, and I'll be back in a second.
After signaling he would sign the $900 billion COVID-19 aid package, President Trump now seems to be threatening to veto it. In a video posted to Twitter, the president complained the bill's $600 cash payment to Americans is too small.
I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple.
Democrats who fought for a bigger payment pounced. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeting, "Let's do it." But time is running short. The federal government will shut down Monday if a spending bill isn't signed.
Well, hopefully that video gave you a quick recap of what's happening with the latest stimulus bill gridlock, as I would call it. President Trump, has decided whether it's politically motivated or he truly feels angered by the bill, but he's not going to pass it. He wants the stimulus paycheck to be higher, and then he feels like the bill, which does include government funding for next year, which is not really part of the coronavirus stimulus, the things have to be cut. Now, realistically, I think this is politics. There was bipartisan agreement on the bill. Mnuchin, who representing the White House, was part of negotiations. So Trump is really coming in at the last minute and trying to, skittle the bill, which took months to pass. As you remember, there's been many stimulus bills after the original CARES Act that Congress had tried to pass with the HEROES Act, and then other bills which Democrats and Republicans could never agree on. So the latest bill, which was approved Thursday, was thought to be sort of after a lot of hard work, it had both parties supporting it, and everyone thought the president would sign it, and that come Christmas we would be able to get the extra unemployment benefit programs extensions to PUA and PUC, a $300 extra supplementary unemployment payment between December 26th and March 14th, and a stimulus check update. And I have videos on those, and I'll put links up here. But everyone thought this was going to pass, and it sort of would be done, and there would sort of be minimal lapse in benefits, and it would be a good end to the year, and I think it was all sort of done. But President Trump playing politics again. I know I'm still complaining about an election that he's now lost, has been certified, has now come back and said that no, he wants the bill to be rewritten. Now, the good news is the bills are veto proof, which means over 2/3 of members have approved it. But it does mean that if Trump vetoes it, Congress has to reapprove it and say it'll bypass presidential approval, which means it still gets into laws, and it will still get approved. But because of the politics behind it, people who bypass president will obviously incur the wrath of President Trump, especially the Republicans who are obviously afraid of getting primaried by him. I think what it all means to is that it'll get approved, but it'll be delayed. Now the question is how long it's delayed by will mean there is going to be a lapse in payments, especially for those programs that are running out December 26th. If it gets approved, takes a week or two to get through. The stimulus payments will probably get out quickly. The IRS has got that system paid out. It's just a lot to get through. But then the biggest risk is unemployment stimulus. Those, the PUA program, the PUC end next week. And the idea was that the new funding would, keep them going for another 3 months. But now, if this gets delayed into 2021, it's going to have to mean that all these payments will have to be done retroactively, which means, likely a 2 to 3 week delay, certifications. And everyone knows the previous round of stimulus payments and unemployment payments was not easy. Every state is different. And, shout out to those in Nevada and Florida that struggled to get their, LWA payments and are still struggling. But it just means more and more delays. More and more people are going to be living on the edge of poverty. I think I've read some figures where close to 40 million Americans are living below the poverty line, which is in contrast to, record high stock markets that Trump keeps referencing, which only help the top 10 to 15%. But all these retroactive payments will eventually get paid, assuming the bill gets passed. But it could be until mid to end of January before these happen, assuming the bill is passed in the next week. And my biggest concern is that the politics of all this may, make things drag out. We have the Georgia runoffs happening Jan 5th or Jan 6th, and then, those may impact how this plays out. Some House Republicans may get scared. The Senate Republicans may get scared of, annoying President Trump, and so they may have further delays. So all in all, the update is that the bill has been approved by Congress. So I do think eventually that will be there. This $2,000 stimulus is not going to happen. Republicans will not approve it. It's going to make the overall stimulus package cost over, $1.5 trillion if that happens. Trying to remove, government funding for agencies, that's also not going to happen. It's it's a $5,000 5,000-page bill if you look at it right now, and there's too much in there to get done over the holidays. So I think next week the bill will get passed through Congress. It'll go veto proof. They may, if the president doesn't get on board, it'll bypass him, which is going to look bad for him. But then these payments won't start till 2021. I think some people thought they may even come out into this week, especially the stimulus payments, according to Treasury Secretary Mnuchin. But now I think the earliest will be early week of Jan, and then it'll start happening in January. So I'll keep posting more updates and check back for the latest status. But I feel bad for all those people who are depending on these payments, and I'll post news as soon as I get it. Thank you.